Hello there. So this is going to be a quick market update or outlook on what to expect with gold apparently, and we're going to be focusing on what's happening right now, especially on geopolitical factors, because these markets right now are not really being, they aren't really um, controlled technically that much. There's a lot of geopolitical factors or influence in them. So apparently, there's something that Trump just tweeted not long ago, and he's talking about Iran has been taking advantage of the US for the longest time, and he says that like Iran has been playing games, and they will be laughing no longer. If you take a look, for example, on X, you'll be able to see what Trump posted about that. So this is not really good for the markets because simply means that Trump and Iran are not in good, or US and Iran are not in good terms, and you see Iran was supposed to be submitting some some peace deal and something like that, but they haven't submitted anything yet, and it has been like this ever since. This is why these markets are kind of undecided, about what's happening and so on. So this being said, there's a possibility, or not really a possibility. Yes, gold wanna push higher, but when we open, I'm expecting gold to drop down somewhere. You see, we created a PDA. Last video I made about market outlook. I told you guys that I remember we had not yet formed, we had not even closed this Wednesday candle. If you take a look at that video, I told you guys that. I think it's the last video in this channel. I say that if we displace above these highs and creating a gap, definitely we're going to be going back to this highs. And not only these highs, we're going up to 2,000, 5,000, around somewhere here. After it up 5,000, then definitely, guys, now the real drop is now will be coming in. Now, after that real drop coming in, that definitely means that we are likely to be in World War Three, like something serious is likely to happen. So with the drop in, I'm expecting gold to drop to at least this level here. You see this level, at least this level here. Probably this swing low is supposed to be taken, which is around let me mark it 45.28, 45.28. I'm expecting this to be taken. So because you see, on Wednesday we had that rush, a rally up, because there was hopes that these people would have something to talk about, and this is why we had this rally up and so on. So the question comes here. I want us to talk about something important here. Why does this happen? You see, most people, or back then, I also used to know that whenever there's a tension, there's always a higher oil risk and inflation fear, and you see that leads to gold demand. But gold does not always rise during wars because this is where sometimes majority of traders usually get it confused. Uh, Sometimes gold usually fall during geopolitical factors because of this reason. For example, when high interest rates, or when dollar has high interest, or sorry, when America has higher interest rates, you see that will automatically attract investors, and that will lead to a stronger dollar. A stronger dollar simply means that gold automatically has to go down, because investors are going to be rushing there too, because they want a safe haven. Okay, now if oil price rises too much, that will automatically lead to inflation, and also the Federal Reserve may keep interest high, and just to keep investors keep investing in US. So high rates will always strengthen the US dollar, and treasury yields, and gold on the other hand does not pay interest. So since gold doesn't really pay interest, investors will say, let's invest in something that pays interest, because why should I invest in gold yet gold does not pay interest? But if I invest in US market, like the dollar and so on, there's always an interest. So the Feds will always keep interest high, just intentionally to keep investors investing in the dollar. And that's how, this is why you like you're seeing this happening, gold dropping, because literally in this war, gold was supposed to be, actually when this war broke out, for example, these issues here, gold was supposed to be pushing higher. It was supposed to be going higher. But now, since the Feds are holding their interest rate high, keeping making investors wanna invest in the US dollar. But I don't think this really gonna take long. Now, if you take a look at the confluence of these things that are happening right now, for example, Trump just tweeted about Iran has been taking advantage of the US for so long, meaning that is not pleased with what's going on in Iran, meaning that there's a possibility some strikes might continue happening. So if those strikes happen, You see how that put this market into that situation whereby there's a need to go down. We have a fair value gap right here. So technically, we have a fair value gap that needs to be filled because this fair value gap is not supposed to be held. It's not supposed to be left unfilled because gold is bearish on the long term. So you see, we created it, and for those who trade even retail concept or even trend lines or breakout, it's as simple as just do a trend line like right here. I don't trade these breakouts, but you see, it works. This is already a breakout. For ICT traders, they are gonna be seeing a change in market structure shift. A market structure shift right here, meaning that we are now bullish and we have a fair value gap here. PDRA supporting that move. On the other hand, there are traders who are going to be seeing a breakout here. So they are waiting for retest. They enter, then they put their stop loss down here. Yes, this low, I wouldn't like to see this low taken for sure until we tap something up here or above. So it all works. The only confusion the retail traders are going to be having is that if they don't understand liquidity, for example, order blocks, PDRAs and so on. For example, the retail concept traders, somebody might have done a trend line right here like this. Uh, let's say they drew a trend line like that. Yep. So yeah, that trend line was broken, and you see that was a breakout, which was pretty much okay. So somebody will say, I'm gonna sell it here, put my stop loss right here. You see, they were stopped out liquidity, and if they're not stopped out, maybe they put their stop loss a little bit way higher. They were targeting these lows. Do you know that this is not gonna happen? These people they're all gonna be stopped out because they're the drawn liquidity. So this is why understanding deeper concept of market structure and liquidity is very, very important because these people are liquidity. They are stop losses right here. Some people who have shorted gold, they're stop losses right here. Some people saw this, break of structure also here or change in market structure shift with a gap, so they started selling from here and their stop loss right here. They're also going to be stopped. They're also part of those traders who don't really understand what's going on here because with the geopolitical factors happen right now and prices just displaced aggressively above the swing high, this shows that we are interested in going higher. And apart from that, me personally, I wasn't really okay with the fact that gold started dropping from this level. I wasn't really okay with that. I wanted gold to tap at least 5,000, at least 5,100 or 5,000 something. This PDR is somewhere around here before it dropped. So when this one started dropping, I knew for sure this is a setup. And I told you in the last video, guys, that this was just a drop towards the what order block. This order block here. Now you see this just for the smart money traders. This when this swing low was being taken, this is now where they enter. And after they enter here, they target these 5,000 above. That's how the smart money ones work it out. So this is just an outlook on what's happening on gold. So I'm expecting a drop of gold. I'm expecting gold to drop. And also based on last week of price action, you see we went back and felt that gap, tapped that order block, and we started pushing lower. So possibly we might end up gapping down, creating a fair value gap right there. We might end up gapping down. And on the other hand, yeah, that's what's happening on 15 minutes time frame. Yeah, also pretty much the same thing. So I'm expecting us to push lower. We had taken some liquidity up there again, and liquidity was tapped up there. We dropped. We had a break of structure. Market went up to to give entries to traders who are not give an entry up there. And after taking liquidity up there, entry. Now I'm expecting a drop towards these lows. Take liquidity over here and continue dropping all the way to 4,520 something down here. So this is the market outlook from my perspective on gold. But remember something, guys, these markets often change. So if I see that we're going down, something can just happen. We end up having a very massive bullish candle closing above this highs. That will change everything. Okay, so anything can happen, but as for now, this is the market, outlook of what's going on, based on geopolitical factors and also based on technical analysis and price action. This is what's going on because this is a setup. You see all this move. This is a setup. There was something they did here. So there's some traders who gonna be, for example, mark that draw a trend line like this. See them like this. So they first had their first touch, then also their second touch right there. So they're expecting once price touch here, they buy, targeting this size. But you see, that's not what's going to happen. This is what I'm telling you, that retail traders, yeah, it works, but it's not the best. The win rate is very low because this all this who are now going to be buying once this liquidity has been taken here. and tapped into this trend line, targeting the highs, they're going to be stopped out because this is a setup. You see this move that happened on Wednesday. This is a setup. You see this day market never even retraced. It just went on, went on, went on. The only time it retraced a little bit was around here during the market lows. This is all a setup, meaning that it has to come back down here. Coming back down here, if you're buying from here, you're going to be stopped out. So I'm going to be uploading this video as soon as possible so that anybody who gets to see it can be able to take advantage of it, and also have your own perspective of what you think of the markets. Don't just rely on whatever I'm saying here, because one thing about these markets, they change every 15 minutes, every 5 minutes. Just the same way Trump might just change his mind. You might just hear news that Trump and Iran have signed a deal, a peace deal. When that happens, trust me, gold is gonna go high. Gold is gonna push higher. It's gonna pump. Okay. So that being said, I hope you guys found this insightful. So make sure to like, subscribe, and share with somebody who need to see this. And this is the market outlook for gold uh, before the market opens.